Hi everyone, my name is Rhonda Robson and thank you so much for joining me on my channel. My channel happens to be all about leadership, and specifically today we're going to talk about what I believe is missing in leadership. So these are my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm sure there's many other competencies, skill sets, and knowledge that is out there that I am missing. But these are three things that I truly believe is missing in the leadership right now, especially with what's going on with COVID-19. These issues are bubbling to the top even more. So what do I believe is missing in leadership? Well, I think there's three things. First, I believe what's missing is that we don't truly know who we are as leaders, and we strive too much to be like somebody else. So we are not our authentic selves when we are leading. We also don't think about perception and how we are being perceived. So that's one thing. The other thing that I feel that's missing in leadership is leaders tend to ride the fence way too much. We're trying to make people happy, everyone happy. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I promise this, if you can get one thing, it is that you can never, ever make everyone happy. So don't ride the fence. So we'll talk about that. And then the third one that I feel is a big one is that I believe not only do we ride the fence, but we also take the easy way out too often. And so we're going to talk about how do you make hard decisions that will benefit you, your organization, and your team all together collectively. So we're going to talk about that leaders need to be able to make the hard decisions so that they can move the organization forward. So as you know, when I talk about leadership, I don't mean that you have to have a title in order to be a leader. You can lead right in the position you are in right now. So let's talk about these three things. First, let's talk about ourselves. How do we be our authentic self by growing and striving to be that best leader that we can be? So we tend to model, we tend to look up to leaders in our industry, maybe leaders on YouTube, maybe there's individual in your community that you look up to. And it is great to look up to those role models and to emulate some of their abilities and some of their capabilities. But we can't be them. God made you to be the person that you are for a purpose. And so he didn't make you to be that person, that leader. He made you to be you, but a leader, right? And so how do you evaluate yourself? How do you get yourself to become a better leader and still be the person that you are? So something that I do is I do a self-assessment, and I assess myself on a regular basis because we have to take a temperature check of how we are as a leader. So within my self-assessment, I have to give kudos first and foremost. This isn't something that I developed. It was developed by Concordia University up in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm not sure who actually made it. If I can find that out, I'll make sure I put that in the link below. The assessment that I do is based on a number of different things, and based on my skills, my education, and my capabilities and my competencies. So the first set of skills that I evaluate myself on, I've got it right here so I can look at it, are communication, analyzing and being able to present in front of a group of people, conducting a meeting. How do I do an email? How do I write a memorandum? Those type of things. So basic communication skills, basic supervisory and management skills. Those are also a part of that. Leadership skills, and teamwork skills, self-management skills. And I keep saying skills, so it reminds me of the Napoleon Dynamite nunchuck skills. Anyway, that might go in the bloopers, but that's all I kept thinking about. So girls like skills, nunchuck skills. Anyway, let's talk about those. So in the communication skills, I kind of talked about that, the different types of communication. I've got a number of them: written, verbal, creative, performing in front of a group, conflict resolution, that type of stuff. The basic management and supervisory skills have a different type of look to them. They're like recruiting and hiring, coaching. Coaching is extremely important. Analyzing your workflow, making sure your departments are being as efficient and as effective as they possibly can be. So those type of things. Within the leadership skills, these get a little bit more into my capabilities and my competencies. Problem solving, talent and management discovery, project management, tactical planning, managing a diverse work group, managing a team, knowing your voice, making sure that it's heard, and how do you go about doing that. So I evaluate myself on those. And then of course, teamwork sounds like teamwork. It's exactly what it is. So I evaluate myself on managing on my teamwork as not only as a leader, but also as a productive member of that team. Leading a team, facilitating a group, defining the team roles. My role may, even though my title is a CEO, my role at that moment in time for this project may not be a leader role. It may be a busy bee role. I may do the work instead of leading it. Maybe working as a virtual team. We're doing a lot of that right now. I've been on so many Zoom calls since COVID-19 hit. It's been incredible, but you can work very effectively and efficiently virtually as well in a group. And so managing that is something that I'm evaluating myself on. It was kind of on a lower number, and now I'm probably going to be able to put it at a higher number. Let's see what my last one was, working with a virtual team. Yeah, I had myself at a 3 and a 4. So I could probably rate myself more like a 4 or 5 now with all of the Zoom meetings that I oversaw and was a part of during, and we're continuing to do right now during COVID. And then the last thing that I self-evaluate on is self-management, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, my time management, my life and family balance. So that's a part of this evaluation. You can also do what's called a 360 evaluation, and that's to see all different dimensions of who you are as a leader, where you would have a group of people evaluate you on many different levels. So that means you would have your peers evaluate you. You would have some direct reports evaluate you if you had those. You would have your supervisor evaluate you, stakeholders, maybe that would be your members or customers, or it could be your vendors. A 360 is a very intimidating process, but it is a great process to go through, especially if you really want to know the type of leader that you are and what the potential that they see in you as well. So you might want to consider doing a 360 if your organization has that capability. But the big thing about knowing yourself as a leader is really taking a good look at yourself and listening to the feedback from others. It's extremely important for you to do that. Make sure that whoever you choose to evaluate you will give you honest feedback. You don't want somebody necessarily just fluffing you up or making you sound better than you truly are, but you also don't want those critics either. It's very important for you to choose the people that you trust to give you that type of feedback. All right, so we've taken care of getting to know ourselves. So number 2 in what I feel is missing out there is we have leaders that tend to ride the fence and they don't make a decision one way or the other because they don't want to rock the boat, or they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or they want to make everybody happy. Well, I've been doing this long enough to know that there's no way that you can make a decision that will make every single person in your organization as well as your customers happy. Not 100%. You can strive for that 100%, but you're never going to attain that. So we have to be able to make the decisions. And when you ride the fence, you're actually making a decision not to make a decision. So does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. So you need to focus on what are your priorities in this decision. Is the priority at this moment in time for this particular decision? Is it the organization and its sustainability? Is it keeping your best staff? Is it maybe that you need to improve productivity? Whatever that decision is that you're facing right now, you need to set the priorities on what that looks like. So if you have the time, which we know time is a luxury sometimes, and you don't have time when you're trying to make a decision. So if you do have the time, I would brainstorm with your team. You hired your team for a reason, and those individuals are there to help you do your job, just like you're there to help lift them up and do their job. So listen to them, listen to some peers, listen to possibly some stakeholders, maybe a couple executives or leaders that you know in the community that can give you some good guidance. But once you've gathered that information, the decision is yours and you need to own it. You can't make a decision and then throw somebody under the bus if it's the wrong decision. So we need to not ride the fence. Get the information that you need, and of course, if you've got the time, ask other people's opinions about which way they would go, and then you need to take that step, make the decision, and move forward. Now, in the future, if looking back, you say that was the wrong decision, then continue to move forward, but pivot in that direction that you feel you needed to go and head in that direction. We can't constantly be not making decisions. It's hard on our staff, it's hard on the organization, and it will not move the organization forward. You will get stuck in the mud. It's like putting your head down in the sand and just waiting for the world to change for the better. That's not always going to happen. So let's not ride the fence. So that's number 2. Number 3 is quit taking the easy way out. We tend to want to take the easy way because we don't like confrontation. No one likes confrontation. No one does. But sometimes you have to make that hard decision in order to move your organization forward. So I'm going to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. During COVID-19, we had to, and I shouldn't say during because we're still going through it, but in the beginning stages of this in our country, we had to shut our facilities down. Our entire country pretty much shut down. But I wanted to keep my staff on and moving forward and working for our community. And as we shut down, income wasn't coming in like it was prior to COVID. Fast forward to a few months, now we're back open, but the income still hasn't rebounded. So I looked over the fence to what the fall was going to look like, and it didn't look good. So what I did was I started making some hard decisions when it came to expenses. So I looked at it, asked a number of different people their different interpretations of where we can cut expenses, how can we get more income. And when I was going down the path, I had to make a decision to eliminate a position. And I did that on the sole purpose of how am I going to sustain this organization, not only through COVID, but also 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So I had to make that hard decision. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And in fact, it still hurts my heart today that I had to do that. But for the organization and for all of the employees that we've kept, I had to do that. We can't take the easy way out. And sometimes we have to make those hard decisions to move our organization forward. So as a leader, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a time you're going to have to make those hard decisions. So instead of taking the easy way out, do the right thing, what's right for the priorities that you set. All right, so we talked about 3 things that I feel are missing out there. I'd love to hear what you're feeling that's missing in leadership, and I'd love for you to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and to click that notification bell. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now, but don't forget to be the best person that you can be so that you can be the best leader that you can be. All right, thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for watching, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that way you can get notified when I have a new video up. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.